So today we're going to be going over the career pathways for going into STEM, whether it's in medicine or pursuing science or research or a combination of both.
Right, so the first thing we're going to go over is the major categories. So a lot of high schools require you to take these classes anyway, but they're super important for the pre-med pathway. So the first is biology, which studies living organisms and their vital processes. This can cover a lot of other fields, including botany, conservation, evolution, genetics, marine biology, and microbiology. You might go into like bioinformatics or even environmental sciences. The second one is chemistry, so that'll be studying the composition, the structures, and the properties of substances. So you'll learn a lot about elements and compounds and the transformations they undergo, as well as their relationships to one another. And the third is physics, where you'll be studying the nature and the properties of matter and energy. So that includes a lot of different topics like mechanics, heat, light, and other types of radiation.
So biology major is like the most common major for aspiring physicians and surgeons. So like about 48% of employed physicians and surgeons choose biology as their undergrad major. And some classes that you could typically take as a biology major will be anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, biology 1, 2, and the labs, calculus, evolutionary biology, genetics, and organic chemistry. And majoring in biology can help you ensure that you can complete like the prerequisite science courses in labs that medical schools require, and that could range between different schools.
Another major that you can pursue is chemistry. So most chemistry majors will pursue careers like medical laboratory scientists, physician assistants, biomedical chemists, or veterinarians. They take a lot of different classes, but those classes include the principles of chemistry, calculus, physical and analytical chemistry, inorganic and organic chemistry, chemistry labs, and the fundamentals of chemical measurements. So, taking a chemistry major, earning a degree in chemistry will help you develop laboratory techniques, and that major often overlaps with areas of biology, physics, engineering, and earth sciences. So, a chemistry major kind of combines all of those. It helps you gain a lot of interdisciplinary skills and in a lot of fields as well. And then
Uh,
we have
many
physics. Oh, okay, go ahead.
many physics majors pursue postdoctoral fellowships to implement human research laboratory experiments and continue research. They may also have careers as research associates, medical technologists, nuclear medicine technologists, and radiation therapists. If you're interested in physics, typical classes you would include mechanical and waves, foundations or seminars in modern physics, multivariable calculus, electricity and magnetism, vibration, waves and optics, quantum physics, and statistical mechanics and thermodynamics. Now, getting a physics degree trains you to have expert problem solving skills, research skills, and analytical skills.
And here are some of the careers that someone with a biology degree can pursue. But it's not limited to just these. First one is the natural sciences managers. This one is related to like just life and physical sciences in general, researching these kind of fields. Biologists, it's kind of general, but basic principles of plant and animal life. And molecular and cellular biologists, this is into the specific cell functions, understanding the organelles, molecules. Forensic science technicians, this one's kind of interesting, investigating like criminal situations, analyzing hair, tissue, DNA, this kind of stuff. And microbiologists, that's the bacteria one where you get to investigate the growth, structure, development, and other characteristics of microscopic organisms. And also the antibiotics to eliminate those bacteria. And lastly, the biochemist and biophysicist. This is like an interdisciplinary between biology, chemistry, and physics. So chemical composition or physical principles of living cells and organisms, including determining the effects of foods, drugs, and other substances.
Careers to pursue with a chemistry degree. Here are some careers you can pursue with a chemistry degree. Water chemists, they study and monitor the presence of chemicals in water, which plays a large role in health. And analytical chemists, they study toxic substances, develop pharmaceuticals. work for a lab or participate in specialties like forensics or toxicology. Synthetic chemists, they test and develop chemical compounds to create new materials, typically in healthcare or manufacturing food. Organic chemists, they research and manipulate and study materials that contain carbon. Pharmacologists, they perform studies on new existing drugs, study the source and chemical makeup of drugs, and study effects on the human body. Toxicologists, they test various blood and tissue samples to detect the presence of pharmaceuticals, poison, or alcohol, and etc.
All right, so major specific to medicine. Pre-med is not a major at university, but rather a track summing required courses. Most pre-med students would major in the following: biology, biochemistry, biomedical engineering, nursing, psychology, public health, math and statistics, foreign language, and exercise science.
Biomedical engineering majors. So biomedical engineers help create or improve devices like heart monitors and diagnostic machines. And they can also work on creating artificial devices like artificial organs that can be transplanted into people's bodies. So classes that typical biomedical engineering majors will take are biology, chemistry, and physics. So your main three: anatomy and physiology, biomolecular engineering, medical diagnostics, biomechanics, and bioelectrics. And majoring in biomedical engineering can help prepare you for medical school and improve your knowledge about tools that may be utilized in a career as a physician or a medical professional.
Okay, so many students who choose this path often become registered nurses, nurse practitioners, or even use it just as a stepping stone towards medical school. And nursing programs often include internships in like hospitals or clinical settings to give students more hands-on experiences. Some key courses that nursing majors would typically take would include sciences like biology, chemistry, physics, anatomy and physiology, nursing ethics, health assessment, clinical theory, pharmacology, patient care practices, sociology, and psychology. These courses would help students build the knowledge and skills needed to provide quality care for patients.
Psychology major overview. Psychology degrees are great for future physicians and often preferred by medical schools. Majoring in psychology sets you apart from biology and chemistry students and gain skills to take a humanistic approach to medical career, such as empathy, critical thinking, communication, and resilience. Classes typical psychology majors will take general development, clinical, social, and cognitive education, psychology, statistics, psychiatry, neuroscience, and psychological disorders. Many schools can allow you to choose a specialization or offer a pre-med track that ensures you to have a prerequisite for medical schools.
Math and statistics majors can help prepare students for medical school. Despite being difficult, some doctors say that putting in the hard work in their mathematics majors help prepare them for the hard work required from a medical school student. Courses typical math or statistics majors will take would include algebra, geometry, and calculus, statistics, data science, probability, foundations of math, computer science, and analysis. Math courses can help you think critically and analytically, and can help you develop the precision required from a doctor or surgeon.
Foreign language major overview. So good communication is a major part of working in the medical field. Being bilingual or multilingual will set you apart from other applicants for medical school resumes, and it can also connect you with so much more patients. In 2015, over 10,000 employed doctors and surgeons majored in a foreign language. So Doctors are able to vouch that taking a foreign language is very helpful to your career. So typical classes that foreign language majors take is conversation, grammar and composition, literature, linguistics, writing, and cultural studies. Some schools also offer courses such as your language for healthcare.
Right, and now we're going to go over some other careers in STEM. So there are many fields of science you can pursue, whether they're related to medicine or not. So in medicine-related fields, you can pursue, of course, careers in emergency medicine, general medicine. You might go into pathology or pediatrics or psychiatry, or even anesthetics, neurology, endocrinology, cardiology, and orthopedics. But for non-medicine related careers that are kind of like linked with a lot of classes you'll take for pre-med pathway. There's of course patent law, there's international relations. So regarding like public health policies, I'm sure we all know like Dr. Fauci, who was like playing a major role during the COVID-19 pandemic. There's local public health, environmental science, research affiliates, wildlife biologists. You can also go into nuclear engineering or chemical engineering. Computer scientists and jobs in data analysis also use a lot of these skills that you get in these fields. But they're all very amazing careers to have, and it just shows how many pathways there are in the field of STEM. And now we'll be going over the 3 pathways to a career in medicine. So your MD, your PhD, and your MD, PhD combined.
Okay, first off is the MD, which is just like a doctor of medicine. This is basically the major or like the pathway if when you think of a typical doctor. So before even getting to medical school, you have to go to college, which takes 4 years. And many students decide to take a gap year before heading into medical school to really get the experience like volunteering, shadowing, that sort of stuff. And after they take the MCAT also, they get into a medical school, which also takes another 4 years. This required, well, in medical school, you take like 2 years of advanced science coursework, and then another 2 years of a clinical experience and patient exposure. And then you also have clinical rotations to apply skills that you learned in a class in like an actual hospital setting. And then after your medical school, you go through residency, which is basically where you're going to be like kind of working in a hospital and really getting that hands-on experience. And this lasts 3 to 7 years. You get a partial salary and a lot of experience with supervision. And it really depends on your field that you're trying to get into. So, for example, trying to be a surgeon could take up to 7 years, while other specialties would take a lot less. After your residency is the fellowship, which is basically where you dive into a specific specialty. And this is optional and it takes 1 to 3 years. For example, neurology would take 3 years. And yeah, after those, you go and acquire your medical license, which allows you to actually have practice in your own practices. And you do have to like renew it every 2 years. The next one is PhD. PhD is like it's basically where you go more in depth into your specific study, and it's the highest level of degree that you can earn. They're designed to be finished within 4 to 5 years, but it can take somewhere from 6 to 12 years to earn. And basically, in this PhD pathway, you are like doing a lot of research. So within the first 1 and 2 years, you complete all your advanced coursework and prepare for the comprehensive exams. Year 3, you study and actually take the exams and and prepare for your dissertation proposal. Year 4, you submit and begin working on a dissertation. And year 5, that's when you finish your writing and defending it to the committee, and then you apply for graduation. For the requirements, you have the advanced courseworks, which is going to be graduate level coursework exploring subtopics in your field of study, the comprehensive exam, which is an exam that requires to show the knowledge that you have in your field, and your dissertation, which is basically an original body of research that you will contribute to your field.
All right, so there's also the pathway of MD PhD, which you get both your medical degree and a PhD, and it takes 7 to 8 years. So for the first 2 years, it's typically your first 2 years of medical school where you do your coursework in a classroom. And then from years 3 to 6, you attend a graduate school and then you complete your PhD within around that time period. And then your last 2 years is when you go back to med school and you do your clinical rotations. So about the MD PhD, there's a lot more competition because there's a lot fewer of these programs, and generally the applicants have higher MCAT scores and undergraduate GPAs and also a lot more research. But regarding cost, a lot of MD PhDs will partially cover or waive your tuition, and some of them even give you a stipend so you can live on it. And while just doing an MD might give you a couple $100,000 of debt. And yeah, a unique thing about this program is that some of these programs involve two schools. So you'll do your medical degree at one school and then your PhD at another. So it's a good opportunity to see like different schools as well.
Okay, so here's a quick overview of our next sessions. So for the one next week, we'll be talking about the biology of the eukaryotic cell, followed by the central dogma and then cellular respiration and photosynthesis. After that quick biology overview, we'll go into genetics and applications of cancer research, and then we'll dive into chemistry. So we'll have an introduction to chemistry, and we also want to introduce participants to psychology and a lot of concepts in psychology. So we'll be doing development theories as well as biological basis of behavior. And our final one will just be a panel with our executive board members so we can talk about our own experiences in high school, and what we've been doing to get involved in the medical field.